Can I just tell you how appreciative I am as a fan of hoops that now in the Eastern Conference, we have a full-blown rivalry. We have teams that don't like each other. If it's from KD last night skipping over James Harden so he can be the last pick in the All-Star reserves, if it's Ben Simmons and the way he felt he was treated by JWill and Embiid, if it's Daryl Morey and Sean Marks and how they negotiated and got this deal done down by the stretch, I feel like when we watch these two teams play, it will be more of a version of the 90s version of basketball in the Eastern Conference.
Minus the physicality, yeah. Right.
You might see physicality. I don't know.
That'd be
but that's what I love to
About
see. It's
time.
finally in that place now. We finally have a good rivalry in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, Key, that was look, if you look at the odds, the Sixers went from 12 to 1 to 7 to 1 to win the NBA title. And to me, the real difference is the Nets 4 to 1 the whole time. They're still 4 to 1. So they're still the favorites. But the Nets, once they put the big three together, most talented team maybe ever. Like, it was insane, right? But if the dudes ain't playing, if James Harden flat out essentially refuses to play and Kyrie is there for half the games, you need more. And they got it. And meantime, the Sixers actually have a championship window now, right? Key, I mean, like, I look at the Sixers, I think they could potentially win a championship like this.
Yeah, I mean, James Harden certainly brings something to the table, no question about it. And you got Joel Embiid doing what he does. But when you look at it, what is that window? Is that window 2 years, 3 years? When is it? Because Brooklyn's not going to go away. I mean, I understand that they lost some firepower on the offensive end with James Harden, but then they added firepower with Seth Curry. I mean, so even being having struggles shooting from the arc, and that's something that he does not do, you still have two prolific scorers in Kyrie and KD. So from a defensive standpoint, you got a guy who can play defense. You got a guy who can do everything except shoot the ball from the perimeter. And then you can't just assume that Miami's going to go away, Milwaukee's going to go away, the teams out west that the Phoenix Suns or the Golden State Warriors are going to decide to go away. So when you just automatically think that there's a window there for Philly, sometimes you say, be careful what you wish for.
You know, they traded, what was it? It was LeVert and Jared Allen and some first-rounders, right, to get Harden. And so, like, if you just skip the Harden part, they trade Karis LeVert and Jared Allen and some first-rounders and get back some first-rounders and Ben Simmons and Seth Curry. Pretty good.
And now Karis LeVert is on the third-ranked team in the Eastern Conference in the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, all this stuff is just disorienting. Here are my thoughts about last night. Number one, I think Daryl Morey and the Philadelphia 76ers got fleeced. We talked about this yesterday. How much would Daryl Morey be willing to give up for James Harden? He gave up 2 first-round picks, Andre Drummond, who's been averaging 9 rebounds in 18 minutes, Seth Curry, who's a career 44% three-point shooter, and Ben Simmons. I think that he's expanded the window for the Brooklyn Nets because the one thing people have worried about with Brooklyn is how long can James Harden go, right? Like hamstring injuries, you got KD, those kind of issues. Now I think they've gotten a lot better. Now I look at Philadelphia, James Harden, you got what you wanted. You wanted to get out of Houston, you forced your way out. We didn't get a chance to see the best three that could ever be. Never happened. You forced your way out of Brooklyn. Now you got JWill and Embiid. You got Daryl Morey. You better go win a damn championship this year or next.
Yeah, you're right. No,
you better go win a championship this year or next.
There's enormous pressure on James Harden. There's no doubt about it. Daryl Morey did hang on to Thibault and Maxey and got James Harden. So there's going to be some pain. You know, it's not going to – you ain't getting James Harden for nothing. All right, it's time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Here is Kevin Durant on the NBA All-Star Selection Show on TNT.
I'm excited for our team. Looking forward to finishing the season out with these new groups and these new players. And, you know, it's playoffs right around the corner, so we got to fast track into, you know, getting used to each other. But I'm excited. You know, I think everybody got what they wanted. I feel like we got versatile players, so we'll have to figure it out and figure out what works for us. But I'm just happy that we got guys that want to be a part of this.
Straight Talk Wireless, no contract, no compromise.
So here's how I think expectations are for the Brooklyn Nets. Obviously, they're the best odds, according to Vegas, to win it. I don't know if I see them winning it this year, Ben Simmons to get acclimated. What is going to happen with Kyrie? I don't know. If Kyrie's allowed to come back and play, all the games due to the vaccine mandate being retracted in New York City, if that happens, then I will have to reassess. But right now, with Kyrie only playing half the games, I don't know if I see it happening this year. But next year and the year after, they will be the favorite to win the whole thing.
Key, I could see.
Yeah, Jay, you say, right, you don't know how they can get acclimated with one another in such a short period of time. It's the same way I think about it, too. But could it be such that you take the second half, because I don't even know when Ben Simmons is supposed to take the floor. But
he's already going on their first road trip right now. He's meeting them on their first road trip.
But is he going to take the floor, though?
Yeah.
Is he going to actually play, or is he going to hang out? So let's assume that he starts to play. And let's assume that he starts to play after the All-Star break. Now you get him into the fold of things. Now in that first round playoff game, that series, you kind of get him in the fold. He starts to understand them a little bit. Then you start to increase his role. Things start to happen. And before you know it, they're sitting around in the Eastern Conference Final. I don't think it's impossible at all.
There's a lot. I mean, listen, from the Brooklyn point of view, Kyrie finally has a chance to play with an uber-talented player that he can mentor. He's always supposedly younger little brother, right? And that's not his personality. So now maybe he actually, sometimes you mentor someone and it actually makes you better. That could also happen, too, with Kyrie and Ben Simmons. I wouldn't rule that out. But from the Philly side, which Harden are the Sixers getting? Because – look, it's pretty obvious in Houston. He's like, I'm just not going to play anymore. He did it again with Brooklyn. But let's not forget, Jay, he rolled out of bed, showed up in Brooklyn, 30-point triple-double, and wins, right? Which Harden are the Sixers getting?
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.